right, guys. So I'm just gonna start by saying thank you so much for coming to Absalom tonight. We're really excited to have you, and would love to get to know you better. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
I'm Billy Crespo.
I'm Viti Ruiz.
And we are amigos.
Nice. So how did you guys meet?
Well, how many years I know you? Hold on. More than 9 years? 9 years. About 9 years.
Like 9 years, yeah.
We are actually neighbors.
Your neighbors?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are neighbors.
Oh my God. So who lived in the neighborhood first? Okay, and then you moved in and you're like, hey.
Well, we're not actually next door neighbors.
Uh-huh.
He's like down the block from me. I've been living in the town that I live in now since 1981.
So I was there first. I was there in 25th Street and Central Avenue when I was a little kid, 7, 8. Yeah,
Okay.
7, 8, 9.
Right.
Where everything started. La Mina Bar in 25th and Central. That's the first rehearsal of Frankie Ruiz with La Orquesta Nueva. I was there. I was 7 years old. He was 3 years with La Orquesta Nueva, 7, 8, 9. Then we left to Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you...
So my bad. I apologize.
Yeah, so you can't beat that.
No, I can't beat that. No.
You stepped into his hood and he was like,
Yeah,
hi,
no.
welcome.
I always thought he lived in Patterson. That's
But believe me, Union City by that time, it was not a good neighborhood,
Okay.
There was a lot of bars,
Uh-huh.
a lot of parties.
So what time period are we thinking?
We're talking about 73 to 75.
73 to 75. Okay,
and,
cool.
And the salsa
So there were
was,
like discotheques, right?
It was a lot of salsa, orchestra live, how you call it, the street block,
block parties.
A lot of block parties.
Okay.
Used to hear Spanish. Our Spanish community had more liberty.
Okay.
You understand? But then
So when you say our Spanish community, what Spanish community are you referring
I'm talking
to?
about the Cuban community.
Okay.
We were all together. The
Right.
Cuban, the Puerto Rican community, the Peruvian community. We were all together, and we're a party people. We're party people, and there was a lot of black parties. You could see different bands performing on the streets.
Wow.
And it was real nice. And in every corner there was a bar, and sometimes they used to have bands in their bars.
Okay.
So it was kind of different. But the thing is that then came drugs, then came robberies.
Okay.
It affected a lot.
Right.
So now it's not the same. Now it's a different community. If they see young people in the corner, the cops already come and search them. It's now
very nice and clean. It's
nice.
cleaned up.
Nice. It's cleaned up. Yeah.
Very
Right.
well. Very well.
Right. So, so you're saying that pretty much back in the 70s, like the Hudson County community in Union City was like essentially like a Caribbean Latin community.
That's correct.
Do you feel like the evolution of the neighborhood has also changed the kind of music that takes place? Like, do you feel that salsa is still like prevalent in that neighborhood, or would you say that there's a shift in the music?
It's a shift in the music.
There is
Okay.
certainly there's a shift, but the fathers always have the responsibility to maintain the culture,
Right.
and teach their children this is who we are, and I believe that now it's more multiverse. Because now you see
Ecuadorians.
Ecuadorians. Now you see
Peruvians,
people from El Salvador,
Guatemalans,
and they're different. Mexicans, and
Do you feel that they enjoy Caribbean salsa like Caribbean Latinos do, or do you think again there's like a difference?
Yeah, it depends where you go. Cause I still travel to Mexico. I travel
Nice.
to Peru. I travel to Panama. I travel to Colombia, to Venezuela. I travel to Europe, and it depends where you go. But right now here, I think they have controlled it more. There is more control, and I think we have been more restricted.
So I remember I grew up in Union City in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't live in Union City, but I went to Catholic school, and my class was the last graduating class that everyone was Cuban,
Wow.
right? So I remember that huge shift and that migration from just a Puerto Rican Cuban community to everyone else coming through. And I think it's nice to have a multicultural community, but you see the difference in the cultural shift and how things move in a different direction. And so I remember growing up, like, you would still hear salsa, but then you would hear all the other kinds of music, which are beautiful in their own right. But being Cuban myself, I mean, I was born here, but being Cuban myself, like, I grew up with salsa in my household primarily. Like, that was the main genre of music that was going on in there. So what got you guys into music? What got you into salsa specifically? I'm sure everyone would love to listen to that.
I want to hear your story.
Okay, he's smart. He don't want to talk.
No, I'll talk, but like I said, I want to hear how you got into it.
Okay.
Yeah, since you were from the neighborhood
even though I
first,
know-
you can go
Okay.
first, and
Yeah,
then
there you go.
Me and my
here
big
you go.
mouth.
There you go.
Well, we're pretty sure my father was a singer. My mother was a professional dancer.
Wow.
She used to do performance in Teatro Puerto Rico and in Latin America of Patterson, New Jersey. That's a nightclub, Latin America. And she has her dances. She used to do a session dancing with a special congas in top of the congas.
Oh, wow.
And the rings of the conga is used to turn in fire, like fire. Like,
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it was a only show she did, dressing as a typical Puerto Rican with typical dress, folklore dresses. And it was real. We came with that blood, And when I was born, I saw my brothers doing rumbas in the streets, 8, 10 congas, and everybody doing rumbas, and it caught me, it caught my attention, even though I didn't want to walk when I was 2 years old. When I heard a rumba in Roberto Clemente in Patterson, New Jersey, I got up. Look at the one that didn't want to walk through a conga.
Wow.
You understand?
Right.
The music called me. It was in my blood already. And I remember that by that time, the 70s, the salsa wasn't up. It wasn't on the top. It was the time of the Fania. The time I used to hear Tony Pavón, La Protesta with Néstor Sánchez, when I used to hear Mael Miranda, Hector Lavoe with Willie Colon,
Yeah.
And
all big names.
I talk about the Cuban community and the Puerto Rican, but I can't forget the Dominicans. They were there too, and they had their merengue and everything. It was party. It was party time.
So you speak about your siblings. Were you the youngest?
Yes.
I'm gathering.
Yes.
So how many of you were there?
We were 3 brothers. Frankie Ruiz was the big brother. He was the big brother, He
Okay.
was the firstborn. Then came Junito Ruiz. And Junito Ruiz was good with the maracas, with the hands. He was good with the percussion. Also, he was good with the boxing. He was he went and made him from junior boxing professional, and he got 2 Golden Gloves when he was starting. And he was good with the hands, but then the doctor didn't want him to fight because he had a soplo. I don't know how they call that in English.
Like an air embolism in the heart.
Yeah, and they didn't want him to continue fighting, and he used to sneak out to my mother to go to fight.
Oh gosh.
And he was good, but my 2 siblings right now, they passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And my mother also, that she passed away. I only have my father, and he's in Florida, and he's already about 79 years old already.
But you have me too. You talking
Hey,
about?
thank
You got
you.
another brother.
But I missed them so much because they taught me first of all discipline. I remember that my mother used to tell me that my father didn't like people smoking around me. Don't smoke around my little kid, this and that. And now I'm a smoker, I have to leave. I was talking with a friend of mine, later on. How you say that?
A while ago.
A while ago, that I have to leave that because I'm not getting younger. I have to stop smoking.
I am a huge advocate for people to stop smoking. I think it's just so bad. One of my best friends passed away from lung cancer because he was a smoker, and to see him strong and healthy and then to just deteriorate to the time when he passed away, it's very disheartening. So
my wife, she's a cancer survivor.
Wow.
They took half of her lung.
Oh my God.
And she's still smoking.
Oh gosh. I can't. I think quitting is sooner than later is phenomenal, and
and we both smokes, and it don't help. We're not helping each other, So somebody has to stop. So I'm gonna have to stop.
Yeah, you could just throw them out. You could give them to me, and I'll throw them out for you. That's not a
Is he
problem.
laughing?
I can.
He's like, yeah, right. That's right.
I do that all the time. When I know people smoke, I'll just take their pack and throw it out for them. I have no problem doing that.
Thank you.
I will, no charge. I will throw that out for you. Also, to quit smoking, it actually probably will help with singing and everything like that.
Nah, not really.
No?
That's mental.
No, that's mental?
Yeah.
Okay. How about switching the smoking to something else? If you replace it with something. Have you ever thought of that?
Well, a while ago,
Waffles.
they told me that peppermint helps.
Okay.
Because I tried the chiclets, how you say it?
Nicotine?
The nicotine
gum,
gum.
Yeah.
I tried the patch. It hasn't worked. They
Right,
told me the
but
peppermint works.
Essentially, smoking is habitual, right? So when the well, there's two things. First of all, the nicotine, right? So your body creates a dependency towards the nicotine, and then that's a whole shebang. And then you could go through nicotine withdrawal and whatever. So that's one component. But the other thing about smoking is it's habitual in nature. So if you were to replace it with something where you're smoking, then that would fix that. And so there's just a little plug in here.
He says waffles because I eat a lot of waffles. He knows I love waffles. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely plug it in with waffles, but that's going to make you gain weight.
I know.
So then you're a past smoker, then you become obese. That's not the road you want to go down. So here's just an idea that I'm going to give you. So, and there's a little plug in for my my product line, but it's the truth. It's science. So what's really cool about CBD is that and I don't know, maybe you may be old school with the way of thinking, but CBD is a form of cannabis, right? So it's THC's older brother who went to medical school. So it doesn't get you high at all. It's purely medicinal. So you're gonna feel chill, you're gonna feel happy, relaxed, etc., etc. But the point of the matter is that CBD also cancels out the side effects of nicotine withdrawal. So all the side effects that you would get for quitting cigarettes, you don't get because the CBD cures that because it's medicinal. And then the habitualness of smoking, well, you could smoke it if you want, and then that cures the problem. So, instead of waffles and peppermint, maybe you could try some CBD.
And Absalom promotes CBD?
Yeah, we have our whole product line. So
That's
we
good.
are a women-owned, Latino-owned, family-operated business,
Good.
also artist-owned. And so the way we started before we had the studio was we would make our products, and then we would go door-to-door selling until we were able to save enough money, and then we got the studio.
Good, that's great. And for the people to know, it's not the drug. It's not the...
No, it's not the drug at all.
Okay.
So THC, it's a psychoactive. It will get you high, and it has side effects. CBD...
And it's dangerous, yeah.
CBD does not have any side effects at all.
Okay.
And it's the medicinal part. So it's the anti-anxiety, anti-nausea, anti-seizure. Like it has all these different beneficial
So
properties.
that's good to people to know that. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Okay.
But what's really cool, just to plug it into to your thing, and then we'll go back to our interview, is that for people to quit cigarettes, I've actually helped many people quit cigarettes through the CBD because
Cool.
again, you don't get the side effects. So all the nasty side effects that you would get, like the nausea, some people get like the shake, some people get headaches, all these other things, CBD cancels that out, so you don't have to go through that withdrawal. But let's go back to the music. It's more interesting. So so then Billy, tell me how you got into music.
Well, it was in grammar school. I was about 10 years old, 5th grade. And you know how back in the day, when you're in the class, the teacher would send a kid with a note to talk. You know, I guess they want to do their chat. They say, hey, bring this to teacher to this such and such teacher.
Yes.
So one of the kids came
And I'm
to the
sorry,
class.
what year is this, like around?
1980?
Okay, the 80s.
Yeah,
And what's the
I was about 10 years old.
what's the cultural climate with salsa and music?
So, but what happened was I got into playing trumpet, but it was because one of the kids came into the school, to the class, and the teacher said anybody wanted to take up instrument, and I didn't really raise my hand. So the kid next to me, they'll say, well, the desk, he says, raise your hand. We don't have to go to school. I mean, like, me didn't have to do any homework. So I was like, okay, and I did it. So I didn't get picked. The other kid didn't get picked either, but his cousin that was in the class, he did, and somebody else. Being that his cousin was short, they said, no, the instrument will probably be too big for you. So they gave it to me. So I was like, yeah, cool, I don't have to do any work. But yet, when you come back, you have to make up what you didn't do. And if you didn't learn it, you know, how are you supposed to learn it? How are you supposed to make it up? Long story short, I was just following, like, monkey see, monkey do. The one kid that we went, one of the classmates, he chose trumpet, and I didn't want to choose anything else. And if I chose something different, I said, oh, look at this guy's a fool. So I chose trumpet. So I learned how to play trumpet. I read the music, and I continued from grammar school to high school, and graduated. I didn't continue any college. It was just no trade school, just like mechanics trade school. But within that time I was in the high school, my sister's boyfriend, which is still my brother-in-law to this day, had graduated with one of los hermanos Moreno and Nelson Moreno. And I said, listen, they were playing, like Viti was saying, they have lots of block parties in the town of West New York on Berline Avenue. They used to have massive block parties. And at that time, los hermanos Moreno were playing. I guess they were just starting, or they had just released their first LP. And he says, I know this guy. When you see him, tell him I said hi, whatever. And I did that. And then I also mentioned that I played trumpet. He gave me his business card. And he goes, you read? I said, yeah, I read music, but not one of those sight readers that you throw the paper and I could read it upside down, from from top to bottom without any problems. You have to read it and go over it and go over it. That's the type of musician I was, the reading part.
It was like Tommy Olivencia, making believe.
No. I played it, but I couldn't. If I start to finish there was going to be mistakes. The sight readers now, they read it and there is no mistakes.
Yeah, and Tommy, actually, he did the third trumpet when he started, but then he was the leader of the band.
Oh wow.
So he got
stopped,
tired.
yeah.
He stopped. He
just directed.
was only making believe and
Right.
directing, because he was the leader.
Right.
So, getting back to that, I continued trumpet with Los Hermanos Moreno. I rehearsed with them, and then I did several gigs. Then I let it go because it was. I found it a little bit too difficult when they brought out a chart, and the whole band was playing it, and from top to bottom, and I'm the one making mistakes.
Right.
So I would have to take the chart home and then go over it with a record or a tape or cassette back in the days, and then come back and then and then execute it. But I felt like I was holding them behind and I didn't want to feel embarrassed, so I let it go. And then I stood with the band as their sound engineer, and I played maracas and guido. And then
I'm very good at it.
Thank you. And it got to a point that one of the singers had left after Los Hermanos did a few LPs, and we were at the rehearsal studio, and they were trying to find a voice to cover because there was always 4 in the front, and now was only 3. So at the rehearsal studio, I was like, I don't know what you guys are having a hard time. All you gotta do is imitate the pitch, and they're looking at me like, what do you like? Who are you to talk? Who are you to talk? That's what they gave me. That's the impression. I said, all you gotta do is imitate his pitch, and I did it. His voice. So they said,
Do you remember the song?
yeah, it was Por Alguien Como Tú. So I was
Can
like,
you just show it to us real quick?
yeah. So
like,
so the guy's pitch was Por Alguien Como Tú, Amor. That was it. And I said, just do that. So Nelson said, do it again. And back then I was in my 20s. I was like one of the class clown. I was like, I didn't take too much things seriously. I did it again. So he says, do it with my brother. So I was like, why would I gotta do it with your brother? And he goes, just, I want to see something. You don't mind? I said, no, all right. So I did it with the brother. Then when he said, do it with Peter, which was the singer, the current singer, and with the band, right there, all the butterflies and the stomach, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And the other brother, Willie, he says, I'm gonna do exactly what he said, because the way he did it, he went like this. He had the bongos here, and he goes, this is an opportunity for you to progress. What my brother's asking you is, maybe he's testing something out. Maybe you might qualify in this. Maybe you don't have to do the equipment. Maybe you don't have to do something. Maybe there's something, could be better for you. It's up to you if you want to proceed it or not. He goes, well, he's just asking if you want to do it with the band. And I didn't know what to say. I'm looking at the band, and they're all looking at me, and I'm dark, but I turned burgundy, of embarrassment. So, I didn't know what to, I said, all right, I'll do it, just to comply. And I did it. So then, I told him, I don't really sing. So Peter says, but you play trumpet, you have the ear for the notes, you read. So this should come second nature. So then Nelson tells Peter, take him, do a rehearsal with him, go through the music, let him learn it. He said, Billy, just do it, try it for a little bit. If you don't like it, we'll understand. And here I am.
Wow.
I played with his band.
So it was like massive peer pressure and trying to get out of homework that got you into salsa.
Yeah, for being a clown, and look at what you never know.
Hey, that's super awesome.
And he has done chorus to a lot of artists that comes from Puerto Rico to perform over here. They always call him to do chorus. So he advanced a lot. He progressed a lot. That's
and
good.
I performed with his band.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. So you move into the neighborhood, and then you guys are a block away from each other. How do you link up? Like, were you guys walking the dogs on separate streets?
No. How we hooked up was like in 2016, but in 2015, I didn't even know he lived like a block away, because I don't hang out as much in my area, and neither does he. He goes home and he stays home. So when I did my first production, that went well. I did a second one, did well, and I wanted to do a duet, with a male singer. And a friend of ours, his name is Charlie Lopez, which his brother did that song Salsa Buena, the original Salsa Buena, con what is it, La Queta Nueva.
Yeah.
I asked Charlie, I said, hey, is Viti around? I wanted to do something with Viti, but because I wanted to do something, different. And he says, yeah. He goes, I have Viti's number. He goes, in fact, he lives by you. I said, no,
Right.
he doesn't. He goes, yes, he does. He goes, yes, and he gave me the number. He goes, he lives in the area, by your neighborhood. So I call Viti, and he answers the phone. And then I have to give a whole resume of the purpose of my call. And then I told him, and at the time I had a video of when Frankie did his performance in Fox's nightclub, and Viti did a surprise and had Frankie crying. And I had that video, and I wanted to share it, and I gave him a copy. So I told him, listen, and I explained the whole story. And he goes, yeah, I live in Union City. I said, yeah, but me too. And when he told me the street, I said, you can't be there. I don't see you in the neighborhood. He goes, I don't go out. I go home and I stay home. So I said, okay, so if you live
So
here,
he's a good boy.
yeah,
He
so I
stays home.
So I told him, I said, if you live in this area, meet me in 3 minutes. I'm only up the block. He met me. So
It's
I gave
not
him
really that. I'm lazy. I live in a third floor.
Oh, okay.
And
Your wife is like, he's not a good boy at all. He's
yeah, no.
lazy.
To go out, and from the third floor, I have to
Yeah.
think about it. You understand?
It's probably because of the cigarettes.
And,
If-
no,
if-
it's probably the cold. I hate cold.
oh, me too.
You know, and I was raised in Puerto Rico since I was 9 years old.
Mhm.
So when I came here, because I left here when I was 9 years old, when I left Union City,
Right.
I was born in Patterson, New Jersey, but I'm not used to the cold.
Mhm.
And but still, I'm a good boy too.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna save myself there.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm not either. So on Tuesday and Thursdays we have Ritmo y Fuego Latin nights here.
Okay.
And I like to keep it warm in here because I'm always cold. As you could tell, I'm in a hoodie right now when everyone's wearing t-shirts. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna, it's gonna be, busy. Gotta make sure it's cold in here so people aren't dying of heat. But yeah, I can't stand the
So
cold.
we have that in common.
Yeah, for
That's
me
good.
to go out, it's like, I don't know. Let me reconsider my life choices.
And let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
You're from Cuban heritage,
Mhm.
right? You love salsa. Salsa comes from Cuba.
I do,
right?
yeah.
And you don't sing. You don't.
So I dance.
Really?
I would say that, I'm not like a professional dancer, but I would say that, I know how to defend myself on the dance floor. I'm pretty good at it. I sing a lot, actually, in my car, in my shower.
That's nice.
But I don't think anyone wants to listen to me sing. I am very into the arts. I have my master's in fine arts. So like all the art on the walls, it was created by me. I painted it.
Wow.
I love music. I also play the piano and the drums. But I never became a musician, let's say. Like, I can't just pick up the piano and start playing like that. Like I didn't get into it like that. The drums, is something that I could probably pick up easier. Like if I had a conga in front of me or something like that, I could do that. Like percussions are very easy for me.
Yeah, you got it in the blood.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am very musically inclined. I just am not a performer by any means, but I love music. If I hear something, I can easily say that note is wrong. Something
Because
like
I
that.
say that salsa is a name, we put it, a commercial name.
Mm-hmm.
But the guaguancó, somontuno, and that it comes from Cuba, you
Yeah.
understand? And we have to admit that. And I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans, they're united in New York,
Right.
York City. And that's when it started putting the commercial name salsa,
Right.
But the roots from
Yeah,
Cuba.
it's super interesting because if someone was to study the history of music, a lot of it comes from Cuba. Like you said, rumba, guaguancó, son,
cubano.
salsa, Afro-Cuban
guaracha.
jazz. There's
Yeah.
so many different genres that came out of Cuba that was the hub. And back in the day, you're talking about everyone would go to Cuba to listen to music and party and all these other things. But it wasn't until the Cuban Revolution where Fidel's starting to do his historical movement, where that's where the movement of music and salsa started migrating, because they saw the temperature, they saw the climate of the situation, and then that's when the Cubans started going to New York, where the Puerto Ricans were, or going to Puerto Rico itself, and that's where the introduction of the music came.
Yeah, and
But
that's
Cubans
why-
and Puerto Ricans, have created, hundreds of thousands of millions of songs together. So
Yeah.
even though the history starts in Cuba, and you have a whole line of very talented Cuban musicians, a lot of beautiful music has come from its partnership with Puerto Rican musicians as well.
Yes,
At the end of the day, it's
that's
about,
why it's called salsa, because when they got united in New York
it's a
City,
mix, right?
they complemented with Latin jazz,
Mhm.
with plena, with
Right.
la guaracha boricua junto con la guajira cubana,
Mhm.
and eso, that's why they are mixing. That's
Yeah.
why they change it they call it salsa because
They
it's
should
a
have
mix.
called it sofrito porque es una
It's a-
mezcla de todo.
Yeah,
Sofrito.
exactly. I mean, even if you look at, like, for example, Celia Cruz, you know, she had her Cuban musicians, but when they went to Puerto Rico, which immediately after they left, they picked up a bunch of musicians from there, and now the band was mixed.
Yeah.
And that's the pretty much the story from, like, a lot of
Even La
musicians.
Solución acompañó a Celia Cruz. And y a Ruben Blades también. So it's a compliment of Latins, you know.
Yeah, it's all of. I mean, it's interesting because as music has progressed or regressed, depends how you look at it, but as music has evolved, right? What I feel like is back in the day, we were able to credit those before us. But I feel like in the Latino community, what has happened is that there has been such a shift in music, but no one's able to give accolades to the grandfathers of music.
So yeah,
You know, like all
the
these
founding fathers. Yeah.
exactly the founding fathers, where you know now we have all this kind of new music, and it's coming from different countries, which is totally cool and all that jazz, but their influences come from salsa, come from all the music of the past. And what is your opinion on, like, let's say, quote unquote, modern music? Like, do you feel like there's a place for it, like in combination with salsa, or do you think that each has their own path?
To be honest, I think that they should appreciate more, like you say, the first who came, and learn from them. Because when every salsa nowadays, they're sounding the same.
Right.
You understand? There's no creation, no creativity, and they should learn when somebody has years, like Ruben Blades, like Gilbertizo Santa Rosa, and like Willie Colon, and when they tell you something, you should listen because they know what they're talking about.
Right.
You understand? And if you have a hit, a modern hit, and you want to call it salsa, but it's not really salsa, you understand? It's like they put in a beat of pop beat, and they put it a conga, and they want to call it salsa, and it's not salsa. Right. You understand?
They want to recreate the music.
And
you can't do it. It's got to be one way or the other.
And
way.
when they get a hit, they think they know it all.
Right.
And they think that they don't have to learn from nobody. No, you always, every day you learn something new. And when you hear the old music, you learn a lot from them, because they have done a lot of music that even though it wasn't commercial, but it has a lot to say.
So let me ask you this, like, back in the day, music, I mean, we have all these forms of new technology, and I commend those who create it, but do you think that modern technology takes away from that just, bare bones, feet to the dirt dancing kind of music, where like you feel the congas, you feel the drums, you feel the guitar? Like, nowadays, the music that you hear isn't with a live band, it's with beats. So do you feel like music has maybe been watered down to just technological sounds?
Not all music, because you still have bands that play fully with musicians. But then again,
right, but I'm saying like mainstream.
Well, no, we have, like I said, music is gonna be music.
Right.
But when they do it computerized, you don't have that right feeling, because you could just hit a note. For an example, you can hit a keyboard, it has the sound of a trumpet, and you hit the key and it go but yet the person who's playing it could do it
right.
Has that feeling in it. So when people try to cut corners and try to do something with music that is computerized, whether it's economical or it's time consuming, time saving, it's not the same, because you can get a digital computer and do some music like you play like when you buy those little Casio, not to plug Casio, but to plug Casio, the piano, and it has a samba, has a this, it has a that, and you could just keep going and just stays, and it just has one steady beat. And it go beep beep pop up beep beep pop up beep beep, and that's it. And it'll play for as long as you hit stop. But when you have a real percussionist, they can do the same thing, beep beep pop, but then it goes beep beep pop beep pop kumpra kumpra beep 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 beep. It's a different story. So to make a song in computer, I'm not really
So
I'm
do
not
you
for it.
feel like, you know, that's where the difference is, that like maybe there's now a modern form of salsa versus old school salsa? Like maybe this new salsa should have like a different name, maybe like Pico de Gallo or something. Like, do you think it should?
You're gonna have all types of
what are we
all
thinking?
types of music, all types of salsa.
Right.
Is what the public and the listeners and the audience what they choose to accept. You know, because not everybody likes this, not everybody likes that type of music. So in the real world, you cannot really please everybody. You know, the people choose, and they decide what they want to hear.
My opinion is that it depends. It depends on the recording. When you record salsa, when you used to record salsa, in the beginning, they used to record the whole band together.
Right.
It was like a show.
So it was like a sound room, like in a recording studio.
Yeah, it was the whole. They used to record live, and that's why the feeling was different. And now they have cleaned it up with digital system, and before it was in long planes. Remember the long planes?
LPs.
The LPs
Yes.
and paste.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not that. Now it's CDs. Now not even CDs. Now it's streaming.
Yeah, digital.
Right.
Digital. And in the recording section, now they have iTunes. The singers before didn't have no iTunes. They had to sing for real.
Right.
You understand? With in tone, and they used to sing like a live
Oh,
performance.
you mean auto-tune?
Auto-tune, that's
Auto-tune,
right.
okay.
Not iTunes, right? Auto-tune.
Right.
And they used
Understand.
to record in live, and the feeling was another different feeling, you know, right?
Correct.
And now you say it's more mechanical.
To a degree, but you know that's why they do separate recordings.
Yeah.
But yet, it's
But
still,
yeah,
you put it together. And
yeah,
it's the
they
same thing.
still put it together. They now it's different sections, like the bass, bonga, conga, bongo, piano, and bass. They put it. They record first. Then comes the trumpets. Then comes the chorus. But then the vocals, the last thing they put. But they
So why? Is there like a
People have their certain patterns how they want to record it.
Yeah.
then
but
again,
is there like a reason to the madness type thing? Like, I'm probably saying the saying wrong, but like, is there a method to the madness? Like, why separate it?
well probably
Like,
is
what's the science behind
to
it?
clean it. The two reason is to maintain the rhythm. You know.
Okay.
Like what we call afinque in la salsa, you know,
Okay.
timing.
the timing, yeah, you know, and they probably, if somebody does a mistake, they could separate and you know, correct the mistake.
Right.
I don't know.
And I
You
also
think there's
back in
beauty
the day,
mistakes?
Huh?
You think there's beauty in mistakes? Do you think a performance has to
Yeah,
be perfect?
I believe that.
well, yeah, there is. You know,
I'm
depending
gonna
on the
show.
mistake.
I'm gonna show you an
Right.
example.
Okay.
When Rafi Levi La Selecta, when they started,
Mm-hmm.
the singers they didn't even sing in tune.
Oh gosh.
Okay, but they hit. But it was a hit.
Why?
I don't know, because the people identify
was
more
acceptable.
with more natural, you know,
Right.
the natural aspect of it, you know.
Right.
They used to love that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like if you was dancing in a party, you
It's
know.
like you were there.
Like if they were there, yeah,
Right.
more
The
natural.
experience was more important than the, let's say, quality.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not saying it's bad quality, but the experience
Yeah.
was more important to people than the like I said, the quote unquote.
Yeah,
quality.
'cause when they got it recorded like that and more in tune and more in out of tune, like out of tune.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the people didn't. They appreciate it. They love
Yeah.
it. but it's not the same feeling. You're not feeling the same.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
No, so it's funny. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you're saying. So, we have open mics here. We have music competitions. We have live bands who come and perform. We have every which direction of music. So we like to be a safe space where creators can come, like creatives can come and create or enjoy what's being creative, right? But the point of the matter is that, you know, whenever we have a performer who plugs in his music and performs, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. But I just fall in love whenever I have someone who comes with their instrument or comes with their band or comes whichever which way they're coming and they just perform live. Like, I feel it. You know what I mean? Like, when I see a performance and they plug in their music, I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. When someone's playing the guitar in front of you or playing the drums in front of you or whatever they're doing, it's like
You get a different appreciation.
this overwhelming amount of appreciation just gets to me where I'm just like, I can feel each note. I can feel the C notes going through, you know, or whatever the case may be. And today we were doing some interviews, and one of the people who came to get interviewed is a guitarist. And I'm like, oh, did you come to serenade to me today? Because every single time he comes, he plays a little bit. He's not a Spanish guitarist. He's actually Jewish, but he learns a song for me just so whenever he comes, he can play, because I just love to listen to live music.
Wow.
So I know what you're saying, where, like, you know, when you're listening to like someone singing through auto-tune or where you hear beats and stuff, it's nice, you enjoy it. It's not like you're like, oh, this is trash. I mean, maybe. But when you hear someone playing, and you know, it's just a different vibe. It's a whole different vibe. So I totally agree with that.
It's like I say with Rafi Levy, they still love him.
Right.
When they would record now with more digital concept, they still love him, more clean, more in tune.
Right.
But they used to love the old sound.
Right.
You know, it's something it's mysterious.
It's more natural.
It's
Yeah.
mysterious, yeah.
Right. Right. I agree. So where do you see your, like, are you working on any new projects? Where do you see your music going?
Well, we have to keep on producing, because then if we don't produce, you know, we don't gig, you know? We have to keep on producing. Right now, he's going to do a Christmas song.
You gave it away.
Which one? Last Christmas?
No, it's your idea.
We're gonna do a Christmas tune. No, because what happens is, like, when I do it, like, no, you didn't do nothing wrong. But sometimes, like, I try to keep a lot of things, like projects, a secret, because nowadays you come up with a good idea and they want to pull the rug on.
So you don't have to say it all.
Yeah, don't
say
say
it
it
all.
all. So coming to a Christmas near you is going to be this phenomenal song that you're going to be releasing.
Right.
That Santa Claus is going to put in each of everyone's iPhones and Androids.
Right. If you go to Puerto Rico, every music in Christmas time they record in Christmas, you know.
Right.
Oh yeah,
you don't have to say it all.
Exactly.
On
Yeah.
every streaming platform.
There will be a Christmas tune, so
That's
it.
That's it.
I'm excited. I will put it out there that if you did a salsa remix of Last Christmas, that would be awesome.
No, it's
just putting that idea out there. You
something
know,
original. That I could say, something original.
That's super
and
exciting.
it's funny, and I'll give a little bit more.
Okay, a little
bit. Me and him, we came out with an idea. I came out with an idea, and it was just for kicks.
Right.
He sang it.
Okay.
For kicks.
So you wrote the lyrics?
No, we didn't. No, I came up with something.
Okay.
For kicks.
Okay.
He sang it for kicks, and then a couple years later, I said, you know what you sang, I'm gonna do. You know what I'm talking about?
It was an idea.
Yeah, the idea that I came up and that he sang, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty cool, and then that's it.
That is very cool.
You know, it was an idea that I came up with, he sang it, and I like it, so I'm gonna go forward with it.
Okay.
So-
So tell me, I'm sorry, I interrupted. What were you
I'm
gonna say?
coming with a new song, singing for Puerto Rico, but especially for my hometown, Mayagüez.
Nice.
And it's called Arreglo de Nino Segarra.
Mhm.
And he composed it for me. He did. I did that song for you.
Mhm.
You know, and I was surprised that I bought the product. You know,
Mhm.
and he's gonna introduce it in his production, but it's mine. You know, and
Right.
I'm gonna put it in my production also.
So it's a compilation.
And yeah, and then I'm doing a lot of things. They're calling me, and I'm recording. I'm saying yes, because you know you have to keep on producing, like I said in the
Correct.
beginning. Because if you don't produce, we have to. And in the union, it's the force. You know,
Mhm.
como decimos en español, en la unión está la fuerza.
Mhm.
And there's people that want me to sing in their production, so I'm saying yes. And I'm coming with different things, different new things.
So when is the first thing gonna drop so we can like be
the
ready
the
for it?
one that comes from Nino Segarra, you know.
Okay, that's gonna be coming out soon.
It's already finished, you know,
Okay.
but it's gonna come first in his production.
Okay.
And
That's
like
super
like
exciting.
like friend invited friends, you know, Nino Segarra with his friends, something like that.
Is it possible to get like one sentence of the song, just a 2-second preview?
Oh my God. I don't think so. Not now.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's under wraps. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. The song you guys did together, Amigo, right?
Okay.
We were talking about it in the beginning. We saw the album cover. Tell me about that song. We didn't get to talk about that.
Okay, it was written. It's an original composition from Hector Luis Pagan. Right now he's the former singer of El Conjunto Clásico. Being that me and Viti are neighbors, I gave him an idea that I wanted to do a tune like Rey Sepulveda, Johnny Rivera, like No Vale La Pena. I wanted to do something like that with Viti.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, you know what? Let's do something. Being that you guys are neighbors, why don't you talk about something like two guys over a, it's total imaginary, but two guys over a girl in a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, somewhere in this world, there are two neighbors fighting over a girl.
Right.
You know?
So it's almost like that song with Romeo Santo and Mark Anthony. You know, I think it's called Eres Mia or something like that. You know.
Yeah, but they're just talking about a girl in general. We're talking about someone in the neighborhood.
Okay, got it.
So
No, but
yeah,
she's mine.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, just like Michael Jackson and
The girl is
the guy from the
mine.
Beatles, whatever his name was.
Paul McCartney.
There we go.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney.
Girl
Something
is
like that,
mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
No,
Right.
no, she's mine, not yours. The song is something like that. And then the funny thing that for the photo of the album, he contracts a model,
Mm-hmm.
and we're fighting for the model.
we
you
do
know,
things like we're pulling.
That's
we're pulling her.
Like
you
tug
know?
of war, like a tug of war.
Right.
It's a nice song.
That's really cool. So when you guys recorded it, any fun memories?
Yeah.
Everything.
Any stories you want to tell us?
No, we just have fun.
Yeah.
When I brought him the tune,
Mm-hmm.
'cause I invited him. He said, "Sure, no problem." So then maybe I don't know, maybe a month goes by or a few weeks go by, something like that, and I give him the lyrics and I give him the track, so like La Pita. So he had an idea how it was, and he said, "Wow, you really did it." And then when I told him who was involved in the project, he didn't believe me. I said, "I didn't do it. It's a friend of mine from Puerto Rico. He put it all together, did all the recording, sent it to me so we could put our voices in."
Yeah.
We were at the studio.
The production was made all in Puerto Rico. We just put the voice over here. And when I heard who was in the chorus, my brother Luisito Carrion and who much?
Alex de Castro and Pedro Brul.
Wow,
Okay, so I said, what?
that is awesome. Okay, guys. I mean, is there anything else I should know? Any juicy stuff you want to give us?
Yeah, I want to tell that before he started with Hermano Moreno and he used to receive the bands from Puerto Rico, Tito Rojas and Frankie Ruiz to his
Right.
house
Yeah.
Wow.
to do picnics. and they know him since he was little.
Aw.
So he had that blood in him, you know.
Right.
He had that star, and my brother used to love him a lot. Tito Roja used to love him a lot.
Aw.
You understand? And so he's not only here because he wants to be. He's here because it was destiny
Right.
for him to be there.
Right. That is super awesome. Guys, I really want to thank you so much for coming tonight and being a part of the interview. You know, as you guys know, you guys are always welcome to come, and
Thank you.
we'll
Thank
see you
you,
perform one day.
Absalom.
Yeah.
That's the name of
Absalom, yep, that's it.
That's a biblical name.
Yeah. Do you know the history of it?
The son of David, the King David. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know there is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
essentially, the name Absalom is also like you said, it's a Hebrew name in the Bible that means Father of Peace. So when you come here to Absalom, we want you to feel peace, chill, happy, ready to vibe out, listen to music,
You
and
come here
just
and
you
you
know.
feel Absalom.
Exactly. We want you to feel Absalom. Exactly.
That's
Feel
good.
the
It's
Absalom.
Father, yeah,
So-
Father, solemn peace. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right, guys. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great
Stephanie.
night. Yep, Stephanie. Thanks so
Juju,
much.
Juju.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.